Long ago, in a village called Obioma, people feared the big river that flowed at the edge of their land. The river was wide, deep, and always shining like a mirror in the sunday. But nobody swam there. Nobody fetched water there at night. Why? Because the river had a secret. Every evening, when the moon came out, the villagers heard strange music. Sweet, soft singing rose from the water, like a flute mixed with the voice of a woman. Sometimes the singing was so beautiful that people forgot themselves and started walking towards the river, as if the voice was pulling their hearts. Elders used to warn, "Never answer the song of the river. It is the call of the Mamiwata. She is half woman, half fish, with eyes like fireflies. If you listen too long, she will take you under the water, and you will never return." But not everyone believed. One evening, a brave young fisherman named Obinna stood near the bank. He was tall, strong, and known for his stubborn spirit. While others closed their doors at night, Obinna stayed by the river, mending his fishing net. Then, the voice began. A soft melody floated across the water. "Obinna, Obinna." The young man froze. His name! The river had called his name. His heart jumped. But instead of running, he stepped closer to the water. "Who is there?" he shouted. The water rippled. A shining hand with silver bangles rose from beneath the surface. Then, a face appeared, brown skin glowing, long braids flowing like seaweed, and eyes bright like the moon. It was her, the mermaid. The village had whispered about her for years, but Obinna was the first to see her with his own eyes. The mermaid smiled. "Obinna, I have been waiting for you." Obinna could not believe his eyes. The mermaid was more beautiful than any woman he had ever seen in the village. Her voice sounded like many drums beating softly inside his chest. "Why? Why are you calling me?" Obinna asked, his voice shaking a little. The mermaid's smile was slow and gentle. She lifted her hand, and the water around her began to glow like fire. "Because you are brave," she said. "You are not afraid like the others. I have a gift for you." Before Obinna could speak, the mermaid opened her palm. Inside it was a shell glowing with blue light. "This shell," she whispered, "will bring you more fish than you can carry. Drop it into your net, and your basket will always be full." But she paused, her eyes suddenly sharp like a knife. "You must never tell anyone where it came from. If you do, the river will take back its gift." Obinna's eyes widened. He thought about his poor mother, who often went to bed hungry. He thought about the other fishermen, who laughed at him when he came back with an empty basket. This gift could change his life. "I accept," Obinna said, bowing slightly. The mermaid placed the glowing shell in his hand. The moment it touched him, the water around him danced like a storm. Obinna felt strong, powerful, as if the river itself had chosen him. "Go now," the mermaid said softly. "Tomorrow you will see the power of the shell. But remember, Obinna, keep our secret." Then, with a splash, she disappeared into the deep water. The river became silent again, as if nothing had happened. Obinna stood alone, holding the glowing shell. His heart beat fast, not from fear, but from excitement. He whispered to himself, "My life will never be the same again." The next morning, Obinna threw his net into the river with the glowing shell hidden inside. In only one cast, the net became heavy, so heavy that he almost fell into the water. When he pulled it out, the basket overflowed with big shiny fishes. Tilapia, catfish, and strange silver fish that no one in the village had ever seen before. The people of Obioma gasped. "Ha! Obinna, where did you get all these fish? Is this magic? Tell us your secret." But Obinna only smiled and said, "I am just a better fisherman now. Day after day, Obinna's baskets grew fatter. His hut, once poor and broken, now had yams piled at the door, palm wine inside, and visitors begging for a share. His mother no longer went hungry. But soon, jealousy began to rise in the village. Other fishermen whispered, "This is not ordinary. A spirit is helping him." One night, Obinna's closest friend, Chike, followed him secretly to the river. He hid behind a palm tree and watched. Chike's eyes widened when he saw Obinna take out the glowing shell before casting his net. Chike ran back to the village, shouting, "Obinna has a spirit wife in the river. That is how he gets his fish." By morning, the whole village was talking. Elders frowned. Mothers shook their heads. Some feared that Obinna had brought a curse upon them. When Obinna heard the rumors, his heart sank. The mermaid's warning echoed in his ears. "If you tell anyone, the river will take back its gift." But it was too late. The secret was out. That evening, as Obinna walked to the river, the sky grew dark. The water no longer sang sweetly. Instead, the river roared like thunder. Suddenly, splash! The mermaid rose from the waves, her eyes no longer gentle, but burning like fire. Her braids whipped around her like snakes. "Obinna!" she cried. "You broke our secret. Now, you must pay the price." The ground shook. The river rose higher, spilling onto the land. People screamed and ran as water rushed into the village, pulling down huts and sweeping away goats and chickens. And in the middle of it all stood Obinna, clutching the glowing shell that now burned hot in his hand. The river rose like a giant snake, twisting and crashing against the village. Trees bent, huts fell, and people shouted Obinna's name in anger and fear. "See what you have done," they cried. "You have brought the river's anger upon us." Obinna's heart pounded. He dropped to his knees at the riverbank, holding the burning shell. "Mami Wata, forgive me," he shouted. "I did not tell them. It was Chike. I tried to keep the secret." The mermaid appeared again, rising tall above the waves. Her face was fierce, her eyes glowing like hot coals. "Do not lie to me," she said. "The gift was yours to protect. A true man guards a secret, even if the whole world is watching. You have failed." With that, she stretched her hand, and the glowing shell flew from Obinna's palm into hers. At once, the river roared louder, pulling at Obinna's legs, as if to swallow him whole. The villagers screamed. Some begged, "Spare him! Spare our land!" Others shouted, "Take him! He has cursed us!" Obinna felt the water rising to his chest. He closed his eyes, thinking of his poor mother. Then something happened. From the crowd, his mother ran forward. She was old, weak, but her voice was strong. "River goddess," she cried, "if you must take a life, take mine instead. Do not punish my son alone. I raised him. His mistake is also mine." The mermaid paused. Her fiery eyes softened for the first time. She looked at the mother standing bravely against the rushing water. For a long moment, silence filled the air. Then the mermaid spoke slowly. "Because of your mother's courage, I will not take your life, Obinna. But your greed will never be forgotten." She struck the shell against a stone. It broke into pieces, and its light went out forever. At once, the river calmed, pulling back into its bed. The flood stopped. The village was safe. But Obinna's baskets never filled with fish again. He returned to being an ordinary fisherman, working hard like everyone else. The villagers forgave him, but they never forgot the day the mermaid rose in anger. And from that time, every child in Obioma grew up knowing this warning. When the river gives you a gift, guard it well, but never let greed open the door to destruction. Subscribe, like, comment, and share for more interesting stories.